pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Have roll call. Jay Swin. Here. Jeanette Lambie-Holdeman is absent. Louis Box.
Yes.
Wolf Schmidt.
Here.
David Clark is absent. Mark Denny.
Here.
Chris Ramos.
Here.
John Matthews.
Here.
And I'm present, Steve Rosenthal, so we have 7 members present. Do I have a motion on the January minutes?
I'll move we approve the January minutes as written. Second.
Motion on a second for the January minutes as written. Is there any discussion? And we'll have roll call vote. Jay Swin.
Yes.
Louis Box.
Abstain.
Weren't here, were you? Will Smith.
Yes.
David Clark is absent. Mark Denny.
Yes.
Chris Ramos.
Yes.
John Matthews.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 6-1 abstain. Secretary's report.
Mr. Chairman, members of the Commission, I have a couple of things to report. First, we have a small change on the agenda. It's case number DEV-19-002, so that's regular agenda 8C. We have a change in the number. It's been revised and you have the new agenda.
Okay. It's 19-002, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So it should be 19-002.
Okay.
Should be
That's the only change.
Okay.
On the, I don't know if you remember, a couple of meetings ago, I discussed about the county wanting to do a master plan for the entire county. And this morning, the board approved the contract to go forward with the plan. We hired Olson to actually work on the comprehensive plan. So as we move forward, I'll have more details for you, but we are excited to work on the plan with Olson. Also, just to give you an update on the County Road 1 project, it actually went before the board today, and they are recommending the same plan that you all recommended, and it needs to go before the City of Tonganoxie, and then it'll come back and they'll adopt the plan at that time.
Okay, but we won't see it again, will we?
No. It's just the board needs to adopt it, that's all
Okay.
they have to do.
All right.
Do you have any
Anything else?
questions about any of that? Or?
I don't know.
I don't know if you all know that we're on YouTube, so everybody can watch the meetings.
Right.
And you changed office space.
Yeah, we're moving.
You haven't moved yet, or have you moved?
I have moved. I have an office upstairs now, but everybody else is trying to.
Yeah.
Wait a second.
No rush for them, right? You got to be some quiet that way.
You're not in the basement anymore, Jeff?
Well, our technical division will be downstairs. All the GIS and all the functions, mapping functions will be down there.
But you're moving on up.
Yeah, we'll have a permitting office upstairs, and it's a lot of change.
Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have.
Okay. Any, motion on the minutes, on the agenda? There's nothing, everything's on the
Chairman.
regular agenda, so do I have a motion on the agenda? for
Mr.
the
Chairman,
agenda?
the first case, I don't think the applicant is here, so we could just, change that to the last item.
Okay. We'll change it to the last item. If they don't show up, we'll postpone it till.
Postpone it, yes.
Yeah, okay. All right. Do I have a motion on the agenda then? And that would be moving item 8 to the last.
I think he's here. He's got a guy from Packwood Stables.
Excuse me?
I think we have a guy from Packwood Stables, last row.
Is someone here from, that represents Packwood Stables? Okay. Okay, they're here. Okay. All right, well then, as written. I have a motion to approve the agenda as written.
Second. Or you want to, I'll make a motion with.
Okay, we need a motion first.
I thought you said the motion.
I can't give a motion. And who seconded that?
I'll second.
We have a motion on this, with a second for the agenda as written. Roll call, or any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Jay Swin.
Yes.
Louis Bach.
Yes.
Wolf Schmidt.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Chris Ramos.
Yes.
John Matthews.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 7-0. Any declarations? Hearing none, we'll start off with, first one is case number DEV 18-0109. Consideration application special use permit for a riding stable and tracks for Packwood Stables on a tract of land located in the east of the southwest quarter of Section 26, Township 10 South, Range 21 East of the 6 p.m., Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 27703 187th Street. Request submitted by Darlene Packwood. Staff report.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Commissioners. This is case number DEV-18-109. This is a special use permit request for Packwood Stables. I believe they actually go by Tally-Ho Stables. This request is for a renewal of an SUP. They have been in an operation with an SUP since 2013. The parcel that the stables are located on is a 40-acre parcel. There you can see essentially at the intersection of 187th and High Prairie Road. Currently, they can board up to 40 horses. They currently, as of the time of their application, had 37 horses being boarded there. Their daughter gives riding lessons, typically 4 days a week. She does schedule a 5th day during the week in case she needs to make up for weather or illness or something of that nature. Typically, during the school year, riding lessons take place after 5 o'clock in the evening. During the summer, when kids are out of school, sometimes they take place all throughout the day. They also, like I said, they board horses for people who have horses but don't have pasture land to keep them themselves. And they have the property open from 7 a.m. until 9 p.m. 7 days a week. The only change that they're requesting is that they're able to stay open until 10 p.m. All activities would conclude by 9 p.m. So like I said, there aren't any major changes to the request. We're supportive of the request to stay open until 10 p.m. We haven't had any complaints on this parcel, on this business in the last 5 years, although the Rural Water District, they did request there's some trailers and maybe some abandoned vehicles that are kind of close to the road, that those be cleaned up if at all possible, but we didn't make that a condition of their SUP. We just, because they are within the limit of the resolution that allows you to have a car on your property, cars on your property. So we recommend approval of this case. They're asking for 10 years. We are supportive of the 10-year request. That's what we have recommended. Like I said, we are supportive. We recommend approval of this subject to conditions, which are right here. And apparently there is a representative here
Okay.
that will answer any questions you may have.
Okay. Any questions, staff? Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion hearing is now open. Will the applicant please come forward? Right there, microphone. Please state your name and address for the record.
William Jeffrey Packwood, 27703 187th Street, Leavenworth, Kansas, 66048.
Okay. Do you have anything to add to the, what?
Nothing at all. I think it
Okay,
speaks for itself.
have you reviewed all the 11 requirements we have?
Yes.
Up on the board? Are there any questions on any of them?
No.
All okay as written there?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions of the applicant, anybody?
So do you have any lighting other than the security lighting, or?
There is, motion
Okay.
controlled lighting and everything all around the building.
But it's all motion controlled? And
Motion controlled, yes.
What's the deal on the cars and the trailers
I don't really know what he means.
I'm just curious.
Yeah, I have know nothing about it. They hadn't said anything to us. You know, everything that's there is functional and moves around and everything, so I don't know.
All right, good enough.
Yeah.
I was, again, just curious. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Any other questions of the applicant? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
We will now hear from those individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. In favor of this request. We will now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request. Anyone wishing to speak in opposition? Please state your name and address for the record.
Richard E. Bogenreif, 18933 High Prairie Road. This is my wife, Mary Rose. Property is actually in her name. We're not opposed or for. I just have a comment and a question. The main question is, there's been many dairies go out of business because of runoff. Some of them have many less than 40 cows. The runoff from 40 horses is considerably more than 40 cows. So I just don't understand or what criteria is used to recommend approval on something that's going to have such a tremendous runoff.
Well, I don't know the situation on the dairies, but I mean, that wouldn't be our department anyway if they
Well,
were.
mostly the federal government gets after the dairies
Yeah,
for runoff.
well, you'd
And
have
there's
to talk to
been
the
many of
federal-
them go out of business in Leavenworth County.
Yeah,
And I think if they're going to go out of business, how can we create more pollution with 40 horses runoff?
I have no idea. And it
Yeah,
wouldn't-
that's not part of our criteria, so.
That's not part of their criteria, they said.
Not part of your criteria? Really?
Well, I mean, we wouldn't stop the dairies from being.
Yeah, we get
We never stopped any dairy from,
Yeah, but shouldn't it be compatible with other regulations concerning pollution?
well, that would be up to the federal government, I guess.
Yeah, state regulates it too, but,
EPA, I guess, is
and
the one. who
you're
would-
talking about animals, so it's not,
Yeah, if the
It's not
EPA
regulated.
shut down the dairies, I don't know anything about that.
EPA.
EPA shut down any dairies, I sure don't
I
know
haven't-
about it. But.
So you don't even consider that?
no, sir, county level, we don't. It would be the state
That
or
would
the
be a
federal.
state or national level, I would guess.
Don't you find that odd? No?
I mean, Kansas is a agricultural state. I mean, we have a lot of animals, so it's,
Yeah,
I think if you start regulating too tight on agriculture, there's going to be a lot of hungry people and a lot of food prices that go up dramatically. I understand we don't need horses, but this is a agricultural activity. There are some that would even question whether this would even require a special use permit. It's in the county. If I want to build a 1,000-cow dairy, if I get the permits, I can build a 1,000-cow dairy if I live in the county. So I don't know that, I know that we would not get involved at all in the regulation of runoff. That would strictly be state governed, and if there was a problem, we'd go federal, but the state would have the final say in any of that.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not against dairies. I support dairies. But it just seems unfair to attack dairies and not attack horses.
I don't, I've
That-
never.
that's
Well, I
all.
agree,
but
but
the
I've never
county-
heard of a dairy being,
yeah,
No dairies
the
in
county
Leavenworth
has,
County shut down from the EPA that I know of.
that I know of either.
You
so.
don't know of any?
No.
you'll probably have to talk to the state.
Huh?
You probably have to talk to the state if you know something like that.
Yeah, I don't know of any that been, but,
Well, Leavenworth County didn't shut them down, but did the state shut them down?
We don't
well, it
know.
wouldn't be the county
The
who shut
county
it
never
down.
shut a dairy down.
No.
Yeah. I would surprise the state shut them
The
down.
state would shut a dairy down.
I mean, yeah,
I mean, the state could come in and say, you have to control your runoff, but they will not shut you down. They'll fine you.
Right.
And they
Yeah.
will tell you that you have to control your runoff, even
Right.
if that means putting up
Lagoon, is-
lagoons and putting up
Right.
yeah.
storage systems, but they won't shut them down.
No, I've never heard of that, but, I mean, I can't swear by
Well,
it, but.
it just seems to me to make it fair, it should be fair for one as
Well,
fair
I
for the other.
think you're right,
That's all.
but I don't think they're doing it for dairies either myself, as far as I know of, anyway. And again, it would be the state or federal.
I don't think the federal would get involved until the state looked at it.
No.
Yeah, I
it'd be
would think
state.
state first and then federal would look at it and then that, but I mean, again, I've never heard of one being shut down because of that, but,
I'll reiterate, we're not for or against.
okay, I
I
understand
just
that.
want a level playing field for both
Well-
dairies and horse operations.
As far as I know, they are, but I don't know of anything but that, but there might, unless there's something I don't know, or apparently anybody else here knows, but,
It meets all the county's requirements, so that's why we are
yeah,
recommending.
right. And a dairy wouldn't even come to us because they're agricultural, they don't, unless they're selling their milk out of their house, or byproducts out of their house, we wouldn't even see it. Because it's a farm thing.
Do you think it's worth checking into, one way or the other?
Well, again, it doesn't affect us here. If the
Affects the
state has a
county.
problem with it, then the state has to do it. And part of our thing is, I think, the SUP shall comply with all local, state, and federal rules and regulations.
That's the fallback, is
Yeah,
number 11.
so that's the last, number 11 up there, you read that? It has to, so if state or fed says they can't do it, then they can't do it, right? So we do got that covered, but,
Well, you guys are covered by it. They shall comply, but there's nothing says that they have to comply, have to go to the state or anything to get a permit to do it.
well, they don't, but neither does
Neither does a
dairies.
dairy, neither does a
Sure.
horse farm, neither does nothing does. Feedlot doesn't have to either.
Yeah,
Feedlot doesn't have to get a permit from the state?
as far as I know.
Now, there have been instances recently where some of those have been shut down in Kansas by the state. Yeah, Mr. Bogenreif, if she's getting negative runoff from the parcel, you gotta get a hold of the state, and that's where your gripe's gonna start with the,
We don't have any runoff, okay?
all right?
Okay,
We don't have any runoff. And like I say, we're not for or against.
Okay.
right.
I just want a level playing field for those agriculture, horses,
Sure.
donkeys, whatever you have 40 of.
Mhm.
I just want everybody to be treated the same.
Well, as far as I know, they are, but I can't say, I'm not gonna speak for the state or federal government if they're doing something that I don't know about, and apparently planning and zoning doesn't know anything about it or anything else, so.
Yeah, and I was just under the understanding that it was somehow negatively impacting, her parcel. And again, if it was with runoff or something like that, you would start with the state. That
Yeah.
would be.
No, it is not.
Right, okay.
All right. Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this request? In opposition? Is there any additional information to be presented?
Nothing at this time, Chairman.
Okay. The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any comments or questions, commissioners? Not, I'll entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that case number DEV 18-109 be approved as presented with the conditions outlined by staff.
Okay, 1 through 11.
1 through 11, yes.
I'll second.
Okay. Okay, have a motion on the floor with a second to approve case number DEV 18109, special use permit for a riding stable and tack for Packwood Stables with staff recommendations 1 through 11. Is there any further discussion? Now we have a roll call vote. Jay Swin,
Yes.
Louis Box,
Yes.
Will Smith,
Yes.
Mark Denny,
Yes.
Chris Ramos,
Yes.
John Matthews.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 7-0. The Board of County Commissioners will consider this item on March 6, 2019 at 9 a.m. in the Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petition must be signed by owners of 20% of the land area in the notification area. Good luck to you. You need to be here on March 6th at 9 a.m., same place. Moving right along, case number DEV 18-110, consideration application of special use permit for a contractor's yard, Henry Contractor, on a tract of land located in the northeast quarter of Section 6, Township 9 South, Range 21 East at the 6 p.m., Leavenworth County, Kansas, also known as 28860 183rd Street. Request submitted by Harry Spring. Staff report.
Chairman, this is case number DEV-18-110. This is a request for a contractor's yard for Mr. Springy, located on 28860 183rd Street. Mr. Springy has been operating at this location for a while now. Mrs. Johnson discovered this and sent Mr. Springy a letter stating that he needed to get a special use permit, and he promptly came into our office and started the process. Mr. Springy does concrete flat work throughout the county. He stores his equipment at his house, which is why it's a contractor's yard. Obviously, due to the nature of the business, he's not doing any real work at his site. He's simply loading equipment Monday through Friday. He has up to 4 employees. Up to 4 employees may come to his house to load equipment. However, he states that it's generally closer to 2, and the other employees will meet them at the job site that they're working on. He has a he has a number of trailers and equipment and such that he needs to operate his business. He does state that if he's working on a job site for more than a couple of days, he just keeps the equipment at the job site rather than coming back and forth. His hours of operation are Monday through Friday, 6 a.m. until 5 p.m. So again, as early as 6 a.m. in the morning, he may have a couple of employees come to the site and load up trailers and such to take them out. They don't typically come back to the site during the day unless they forgot something, but that's not the goal, obviously. He does state that he, on occasion, stores rebar at the property. It's temporary in nature. It doesn't cause a major eyesore or anything like that. He keeps most of his equipment inside of the buildings. He does, like I said, have a couple of trailers that are parked outside, and he has 1 work truck. They're parked in an orderly fashion. We went out to his property a few weeks ago. It's neat and orderly. There aren't any concerns, I don't believe. Mr. Springy is asking, of course, for his special use permit to be approved. Staff is supportive of this request, subject to conditions, which are right here. Mr. Springy's here. We'll answer any questions that you may have, as will we.
We had on our desk from somebody.
Yes, after the packets went out, one of his neighbors came in and did have some concerns.
Can you show us, go back to the map and show us which neighbor that was? Do you
I
know?
don't know.
You don't know?
No, I don't. I'm sorry. I can pull up the map if you have.
Well, I mean, we don't know who it is, so.
Well, his address is on there. I can pull up the map and pull up.
Okay.
I just don't know from that aerial which of those it is. So if you give me just a second.
Anybody else have any questions of staff while she's doing that? I'll continue while she's bringing that up. Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. Not yet, ma'am. No, I'll go ahead if you can get it.
Sorry, it's,
Will the applicant please come forward? Go ahead. You heard everything. You have anything to add?
No, I'm no
comments?
problem.
Okay. We just want to see this real quick, where this neighbor was who wrote that.
they're right here.
Okay.
Mr. Springy, you're right. So here's
Okay.
Mr. Springy.
So they're really not that close.
No.
No. Okay.
How many
All
years
right.
have you been there? How many years have you been operating?
I've been there 2 years. Well, a little bit over 2 years.
Okay.
I think
You
almost
go
3
back to
years,
the
actually.
requirements. Sorry, thank you. I appreciate it. Okay. We have 11 requirements. They're up on the board here. Have you reviewed all of them?
I just now seen them, but I have no
Okay,
problem.
well,
with it.
take your time to review them. I want to make sure that you're okay with all that.
No, I don't have any problem with that. Well, that storage of materials outside the shop, in between those shops, I have lumber. I put it in between the shops. You can't even see it unless you're.
What's that?
Lumber.
Lumber?
Lumber material. There's, I think I put in that application, I got a couple of pieces of equipment
Yes, sir.
that are sitting outside
Yeah.
that I couldn't.
We can modify that if you're amenable to us modifying that to rebar and lumber.
Okay. All right.
Now sometimes I'll bring a truck home and not put it in. I got all my trucks in that garage right now. In the wintertime, I keep them in there. And during the summer, sometimes we'll bring them home and I'll back them up nice and neat against the garage. It's not like they're sitting all over the parking lot.
Yeah, no, by
Yeah.
materials, we just mean,
Okay.
we don't mean the trucks or the trailers, just
The materials just
like,
be lumber then, yeah, lumber
Yeah,
and
the
steel.
lumber, the
Okay.
rebar.
Rebar, yeah, lumber, and there's
Right.
about it really, yeah.
So did you get through all those? Do you understand them all?
Yeah, I have no problem with it.
You don't have any questions or anything on any of
Now
them?
Saturday, every now and then on a Saturday I might work, but that's not very often. It says, I think it says Monday through Friday.
Does say Monday through Friday,
Yeah.
so.
We don't work too many Saturdays, but occasionally we
Well, could we add occasional Saturdays then, maybe?
do. I mean, if it's a problem, they don't want me to. I mean, I'll
We'll
figure
see.
a way around.
We'll see. Anything else up there?
No, sir.
Okay, all right. Any other questions of the applicant?
What, 5 years from now, where do you see your business? Do you see it as far as size-wise?
Hopefully I'll be
this size?
retiring in about 5 years. Actually, I'd like to keep it about this. I've been doing this about 20, 25 years. I mean, Christian knows me. I mean, I've been around for a long time. I've been doing it for quite a while. We kind of actually, just downsized a bit. We don't have very many employees, 2 to 4. Kind of small. Yeah, I'd like to retire by the time I'm 60 if I could, but I don't see it growing any out of proportion.
Okay.
Okay. All right, any other questions of the applicant? Thank you, sir. We will now hear from those individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. Anyone here wishing to speak in favor of this request? We'll now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request, in opposition. And remember, please state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Patty Wilmus. My address is 18230 Springdale Road, and my house is just east of the property in question. And mine is not really not in opposition. It was just clarification. Because our property is east, I wasn't sure if his business was going to be able to expand to the east.
Oh, right.
And so, or if it was going to be housed outside of the 2 buildings that are there, and that was my concern. But I see that that's been addressed. So,
Okay, yeah.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else wishing to speak in opposition to this request? In opposition? Is there any additional information to be presented?
Nothing at this time, Chair.
The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, Commissioners? Now I'll entertain a motion.
I'll move we approve case DEV 18-110 with staff recommendations and adding to the number 2 hours of operation occasional Saturdays and the lumber and rebar verbiage in there also.
Second.
I have a motion on the floor with a second to approve case number DEV 18-110, application for a special use permit for contractor's yard for Henry Contracting with staff recommendations, changing number 2 to include some Saturdays and adding lumber to the rebar that could be stored outside. Is there any further discussion on this motion?
Yeah, I would, I don't like the word occasional, just because Mr. Springy's definition of occasional is going to be different than his neighbor's definition of occasional. So, you know, to me, we either put it in there Saturdays,
I'm okay with just
excuse me,
adding
Monday
some-
through Saturday.
I'm okay with
or-
adding Monday through Saturdays.
Not at all. And obviously, you don't have to, I mean, you have to work every
We
Saturday.
don't normally work too many Saturdays, but I like to have the option.
Right, but my point
Sometimes it
is,
rains.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Just change it to Saturday.
Mr. Leith's definition of occasional may be once a year, you know? So I would just suggest maybe just changing it Monday through Saturday.
Also, it'll be difficult to enforce as well.
Okay, Chris, are you okay with that change, since you seconded it?
Absolutely.
And Jay, you're okay with it too? Okay. All right, everybody know what we're voting on then?
Yep.
Any other discussion before we vote? Not have a roll call vote. Jay Swin.
Yes.
Louis Fox.
Yes.
Will Schmidt.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Chris Ramos.
Yes.
John Matthews.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 7-0. The Board of County Commissioners considered this item on March 6, 2019 at 9 a.m. in the Leavenworth County Courthouse. Any person wishing to file a protest petition must contact the Planning and Zoning Office. Protest petitions must be filed with Leavenworth County within 2 weeks of this meeting. To be valid, the protest petitions must be signed by owners of 20% the land area and notification area. March 6th, 9 a.m., same place, right here. And that's when it goes to the county commissioners. Okay. Case number DEV 19-002, consideration application for a text amendment to amend Article 19 of the Leavenworth County Zoning and Subdivision Regulations, request submitted by Planning and Zoning staff. Staff report.
Commissioners, this is a request to add sign shop to our, to the table of uses. We have had an applicant come forward with a sign shop for a special use permit, and it wasn't in our table of uses. So we are asking to add that. It would be a special use permit in rural zoning, so the vast majority of zoning in the county would require a special use permit, the protocol which you're very familiar with. And then it would be allowed outright with a site plan and such, but it could be approved at staff level in B3 through I3 zoning districts, and then it wouldn't be allowed in the other zoning districts at all. So we are obviously supportive of this request, and we'll answer any questions that you may have.
Okay, what were they under before? Because I know we have some sign shops before.
So yes, we have had them before. They used to, the one that's coming forward, it actually used to be under as a small limited business. However, it doesn't meet the definition for a small limited business, and we didn't have anything we could really stick it under. So just so we didn't have confusion in the future, we want to go ahead and put it in the regulations so that it's there.
Okay. All right. Any questions, staff?
Now, what is a sign shop?
So the one that is coming before, that will come before you, they build signs. It might be billboard signs, it could be lighted signs. which is part of the reason that we wanted it to be allowed with a special use permit, so that it would have to come before you, and then allowed in the heavier zoning districts, because it can sometimes be a heavier use, if we're talking really large billboard signs or something that would obviously be a bigger use than what I believe the people who will be coming forward to renew their special use permit
Thank you.
are doing. You're welcome.
Okay, anything else? Upon opening the public comment portion of this hearing, those of you who wish to speak either for or against this item upon recognition will give your name and address each time you begin to speak. This is necessary since the public hearing is being recorded. The public comment portion of this hearing is now open. We'll now hear from the individuals present wishing to speak in favor of this request. Anyone present wishing to speak in favor of this request? We will now hear from individuals present wishing to speak in opposition to this request. In opposition. Is there any additional information to be presented?
Nothing at this time.
The public comment portion of this hearing is now closed. Are there any questions or comments, commissioners, or I'll entertain a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we approve case number DEV 19002, first staff recommendations.
Second?
A motion on the floor with a second to approve case number DEV 19-002, the text amendment to amend Article 19 of the Leavenworth County Zoning and Subdivision Regulations. Is there any further discussion? None. Roll call vote. Jay Swin.
Yes.
Louis Box.
Yes.
Will Schmidt.
Yes.
Mark Denny.
Yes.
Chris Ramos.
Yes.
John Matthews.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Motion carries 7-0. Board of County Commissioners will consider this item at 9 a.m. on March 6th at the Leavenworth County Courthouse. Anything else? You're adjourned.